ミーヤです。中国からです。写真家です。
Hello, my name is Jack. I don't know everything, but I try. Mr. Faulty, I try.
そうですか。よろしくお願いします。私、大家の
Lazy
です。
Lazy
は何でも知っています。そうですか。よろしくお願いします。
I'm a jack of all trades and master of none. Just look at the mess I made of this position. Because I never learned Joseki, and was trying out something new.
Please tell us in your own words what happened. The investigator can now know this person did it, when he did it, how he did it, why he did it. Well, tell us what happened and what happened next. Those are the two most powerful questions that we have. What happened? What happened next?
I was white, and black had given me an unexpected opportunity when he failed to play the Hante move of connecting his Hane. I had a stone already waiting in the middle of the right side, so black was never going to make a lot of territory there. So I cut black's Hane, planning to sacrifice my cutting stone to gain a tempo, so I could Hane again in the corner, on top of black's two stones, reducing their liberties to just two. So black would be forced to capture my sacrifice stone, and I would end up in Sente, having prevented black from later reducing my upper side from his corner position. I thought my cut was a clever move, but I ended up losing the game. So, afterwards, I asked Lazy where I had gone wrong. Lazy looked at the position for what felt like half an hour, and never even considered my clever move. She said the only move worth thinking about was to wedge into black's silly jump.
The Earth is the only visible object other than the Sun that can be seen, although there have been some reports of seeing planets.
The rule of the negative. Truthful people tell us what they saw, heard, and experienced. When one tells us what they did not see...
I myself did not see planets from the surface, but I suspect they might be visible.
The mind's eye is a wonderful thing, but it can be hard to imagine what the view from somewhere you have never been to looks like. I could see the stones that were already on the board, and I could even imagine a couple of stones from the future. Just so long as things went the way I hoped they would. But as Hamlet says to Horatio, to see or not to see? That is the question. AI. There's the rub. For there are more things in heaven and earth, Jack, than are ever dreamt of in your philosophy. Lazy is a modern-day Hamlet. She showed me, indirectly, a different view of the future, one that I hadn't even stopped to think about. In this case, a black stone in the place that white should have taken. Oh, my God. Just look at all the influence black gets. My clever move hands it all to black on a plate. It forces him to win. Oh, dear. What an idiot I was. But that's the thing about influence. It's always there, even if you can't see it. Neil is not an idiot. He is more like lazy than me, because he could see into the future, and knew what would happen if he didn't tell that idiotic story about not being able to see shining stars, which he had to do, because Stanley hadn't put any stars in his TV film. By the way, maybe Stanley did that on purpose, so that his TV audience would smell a rat. So, when decades later, they still hadn't got it, Stanley dropped a load more hints in another film he called The Shining. Neil's story is a fairy story, because, let's face it, even a 7-year-old child knows that you don't have to actually go into space to know that anyone, anywhere in space, can see shining stars just so long as they look away from the glare of the sun. Because even down here on Earth, we too are in space. And any 7-year-old child who has ever looked up from her go-board at the twilight sky can see and worship the morning star. The one that the 3 wise men of Babylon called Ishtar, who 1,000 years later, the Romans called Venus, and the Saxons called Estrus, whose spring equinox, special day of fertility, we still celebrate with Easter eggs and dancing around the maypole 9 months before her baby son is reborn at Christmas. Neil was a very brave man, but he would have been foolish to try to resist the unseen influence of the glare of the unseen eminence Grease, before whose absolute power he could only bend like a reed in the wind and tell Patrick all that nonsense. We cannot read Neil's mind, but we can all see on his face the anxiety and sadness he is feeling about having to tell porkies the size of pyramids. Just as we cannot read Lazy's mind, but we can all see the emotions she feels when Lizzie or Sabaki colors them in for us. I had a choice in my game, but Neil didn't have a choice in his. Because it wasn't his game. He was only a pawn that would be sacrificed if he made the wrong move. For as Isaac Newton showed us, influence is always there, even if you can't see it.
The Earth is quite beautiful from space and from the moon. It looks quite small and quite remote, but
He said that from the moon, the Earth looks very small and remote. Now, the Earth is 4 times the diameter of the moon, and we're all used to seeing the moon in the sky and how big it is. So if you were to see something that big in the sky, would you call it small and remote?